turning my mic on. I need to see about turning your mic on. Bum, bum, bum. I don't think they can hear you yet.
I bump when I talk.
Yeah, you should be bouncing whenever you talk too.
Oh my god.
Becky, look
That's
at
so
that
cool. This is like peak for me. So like, excuse all of the fangirling.
We're doing so much fangirling. We're so cool.
You're cool. I'm just riding your coattails. Like kidding.
Not at all. I'm gonna see if I can isolate just the Discord sound in case there's any like. Go way back, starting song. The fucking starting song was still going. Let me see if I can just isolate Discord. There it is. Discord. Just in case. This is gonna duplicate your sound for just a sec. I think. Okay. Oh, I can turn you down.
Just lower my voice.
No, I got you. I can don't do that. I can turn you down. I've got a whole thing for it. You don't need to lower your voice for me. Jeez, the whole thing is about lifting up your voice. The last thing we need to do is lower your voice.
Well, no, I just won't be shouting into my microphone.
It's fine. I'm just gonna I'm gonna use my desktop audio, and I lowered you a little bit. Hi everybody. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the stream. We both have sleepy voices for you tonight. I'm very sorry. I am sleepy, and I know this is way past Dex's bedtime, so we are gonna
I'm so far past my pumpkin hour. I'm so excited to stay up late and be naughty. Respectfully, as much as
respectful. That respectfully jumped in real quick at the end there.
Yeah, gotta slide it in.
So we're just going to be doing kind of a casual chat. Feel free to throw in any questions you might have for us. Specifically Dex, again, I want to be highlighting Dex during this conversation. The whole point is to let me start there. One of the things, I've been producing and creating NSFW audio for about 2 years, just shy of it. And one of the things that I notice is that men get a lot of attention, like a lot. Having a male voice, just instantaneously, you get more listens, you get more, people who follow you. It's a faster build. And a lot of the people who prop up the industry, really the majority, the kind of foundation of the industry is built on femmes and their voices and their production work and their writing and their editing and all of that. And so I wanted to take some time and talk to other creators who do this work. And I couldn't think of anyone better to start with, absolutely nobody better to start with than NeonDextrose, who goes by Dex. And I wanted to, give us a chance to talk through her experience, to talk through what it's like for her, what she's done in this industry. This may be very specific just to her. It may be some open kind of, what you can expect from the industry if you're interested in it. It might be some, what you can expect if the industry in the future or where it's been. We're going to kind of open this up a little bit to whatever Dex wants to talk about. That's my goal here, is for me to learn, for everyone else to learn, and for us to get a chance to kind of encourage people to go and follow more, support more femme creators. And I want to jump in with that, Dex. Is there anything you want to say at the top?
Wow, that intro made me kick my feet in my chair. Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
Definitely thought you were about to say it made you wet, and I was like, hey, whoa, hang on.
Listen, I'm still feeling out the waters on Twitch. I didn't want to come screaming out the gate.
We're allowed to. We have produced smut on here. Sawara, who's in the comments, and I have made these exact. We have moaned into microphones on Twitch.
Oh,
they don't
sick.
seem to care.
Oh, okay, so that's the level. Gotcha.
Yeah. We're pretty. I don't think it's gonna care. It generally doesn't. So
solid. Okay. Well, hi, Chad.
I immediately
Ethics.
got my shit rocked for saying that. Look, Dex and I know each other. It was a joke she would have
We do.
made
We do.
if it
It is
weren't.
a joke I would have made. It was right there, like right on the tip of my tongue. But I had to pull it back at the last second. Like just like I had to slide in the respectful like right at the last second. It's like right there.
I promise. That wasn't me just like pulling shit out. I talked to Dex often enough that I was like, she was about to say something else and
I'm
pulled it.
permanently
So
inappropriate. Yeah. I hide it behind a very well cultivated mask of professionalism, but like
yeah, the most professional of all people ever. We all know that.
the most professionalist professionally.
Ah,
Anyways.
that terrifying noise is when someone follows me. Thank you for following me.
I don't have my sound on your Twitch. I'm just
It's
watching
wise.
myself bounce up and down.
That's what I can't start the interview that way.
You can. I feel like it would be very apropos.
I mean, we're talking about smut. It makes
Appropriately
sense.
inappropriate seems very appropriate. Yes. Cyber, yes. It feels like you already know me.
All right, well, let's jump in with that. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want to let you get to bed at a decent hour. So let's start by talking
I didn't
about.
sign up for that.
Let's start by talking about how you got into audio erotica. What was the lead up? Like, what was your path into the field?
Well, 7 years ago. I'm just kidding. But I do my history goes back a long way. So, I've been writing my whole life, and I'm in my late 30s. For those of you who may not know how old I am, I've been writing my whole life. So I have a long history of a novelistic style writing, and I started writing erotica probably 7 years ago, inspired by D&D. So for those in chat and for you, Ethics, I feel like you understand. I wanted to write smut about my character fucking other characters in my campaigns with the other players' permission. So I've been playing D&D for like 10 years at this point.
You got all the nerds in chat being like, D&D? Huh? What?
Yeah, their ears perked up, yeah. So I started writing erotica before I started recording erotica. Now, how I got into this space is I started doing visual work. So I started doing visual content. I'm a seamstress by trade, and I started crafting these characters for me to slide into. For a lot of reasons. Originally, I had started doing it because it was more therapeutic, with the intention of like creating these characters to give myself the permission I felt like I needed to feel the way I wanted to feel.
Yeah.
And that was like January 2021, December 2020, January 2021. And July of that year. Now I have podcasting experience. That's a long time before this. And I was like, I have a nice microphone. And I was like, I kind of want to write like something spicy. And I want to record it. And like, what if it sucks? But like, what if it doesn't?
Yeah.
And so I just was like, I'm going to write a fantasy about this thing. And I'm going to record the thing. And if it's dog shit, then no one has to hear it. And it will be a secret that dies with me, you know?
Yeah.
So what I ended up writing was this hour-long narrative about, it was just like a college age, like babysitter style age gap fantasy. An hour long. And it took me like 3 days to record it. And when I finally finished it, I felt like I ran a marathon. And I was like, I don't immediately hate this, but like the cringe factor was like pretty high. Because I was like, oh my God, I'm hearing myself do all these things. Like, oh wow, like this is, I said dick. I said, wow, this is crazy. Hearing myself say that. And then I was like, this is fucking long.
Yeah.
There has got to be a better way to do it. So I took to the internet. I was like, the internet must have the answers I need. So
Hmm.
I started Googling erotic like narratives and erotic short stories,
And this is
and
in
that led me
2020 or is this in
21.
21? Okay.
Yep. So this is middle of the year 2021,
Hmm.
and I found Reddit,
Hmm.
and that was it. I found GWA. I made a couple of friends, and I started learning the writing style for this particular what I had no clue this world existed. Like I've been
Yeah.
watching porn like my whole life, right? Like
Oh, right. Yeah.
respectfully, like I've been around since the birth of the internet. Not to date myself or anything, but um I've been around, and I didn't realize this existed. And I've always, and I don't say this to be like tooting my own horn, I love listening to myself. I think it's
Right.
because I spent so long training my voice, so I know what I sound like, and that has never been a jarring experience for me.
Yeah.
Because like I wanted to be a chorus teacher. For those of you who do not know Dex lore, I wanted to be a chorus teacher, so I took like 12 or 13 years of classical vocal training to do it.
Wow.
So like I know what I sound like, and I've always loved what I sound like. And it's a hard thing to admit in this space because this space is very like intimate and very vulnerable, and a lot of people in this space aren't familiar with what they sound like outside of their head.
Yeah.
So when I'm like, I can't identify with that. I feel like a little like cocky, and that's not my intention. Um, but I love the way I sound. So when I was listening back to this story, it was like more so like I did it. What else can I do?
Yeah.
Right? And that permanent curiosity has led me through everything I do in this space. And
Hmm.
that's how I started.
I love that.
Well, that's how I started doing audios.
Yeah. I love that. I think I want to highlight a couple of things you said. One being that like a lot of people are told they have good voices. They don't know that they have good voices. And that kind of confidence is really important, I think, for people who are interested in getting into the space. And I'm sure people would love to hear more about that later. I want to like save it as a backup question for later. Um,
Sure, sure.
but one thing I definitely want to hear more about is like you mentioned giving yourself permission. What was that kind of process like? What was it like to give yourself permission to do a lot of these things, to hear yourself saying a lot of these things? What was that emotional like process like? Do you remember enough of that? It was 4 years ago at this point, but
Oh, I do. I do because I constantly go through it.
oh,
So, more deep Dex lore, I will just pawn skip over. I have CPTSD, so I've been in
mm,
therapy a lot,
yeah,
and a lot of the things in therapy is going through and experiencing things that I didn't get to experience as a kid.
right,
And one of those things is receiving support from myself to do the things that I want to do, right?
mm,
So when it comes to erotica, this is a space that I am very comfortable in, and this is a space that I find brings me a lot of motivation and passion, just because it's it's something that's uniquely adult. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it is a uniquely adult experience to have the permission to um, allow yourself to do stuff like this in this space. And maybe this is a reclamation of something as a femme creator, or just as a woman in general, because of the way porn is organized and shot, and a lot of the a lot of the industry is shot from the male gaze.
right,
So like when I started learning what I liked from a female gaze, it felt so empowering. So like giving
mm,
myself the permission to do stuff is terrifying to start. And it sounds a little counterintuitive because you're like, I'm gonna do this crazy thing and it's gonna be so fun, and then you're like shaking at the precipice of it. Like you're like, oh my
yeah,
God, like I might be scared to do it.
yeah,
And like a lot of the work that I've gone through to overcome a lot of my trauma is do it scared. Do it
mm,
anyway. Like as long as you're not hurting yourself, as long as you're not hurting other people, if you are embarking on a new thing, it can be scary.
right,
But do it scared. Because if at the end of the day it's something you want to do and you're just scared to do it scared. Do it anyway. Fucking fuck it up. Do it again. Fuck it up less.
yeah,
Like, do it again. Like the process. Like, And that's really where a lot of that came through. Like when I started doing costumes, like I would build like lore for my characters because
Hmm.
this is where my D&D background comes in, right? So like,
Yeah.
I build these characters and I sort of cherry pick the parts of me that I like, the parts of me that I want to play with.
Yeah.
And, this character has this vibe and this character has this vibe. It's no different with erotica. It's
Right.
just audio versus visual. And in order to slide into these characters, I have to give myself the permission to know that these characters might behave a little differently. And that's
Hmm.
okay to explore that space as long as you're still being true to you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. That sounds a little counterintuitive just because I think it's a juxtaposition of thoughts because I'm like, "Oh, this character is going to behave differently." But if you stay so rigid in who you are, then you'll never experience new things. And
Right.
I'm obsessed with trying new things.
Right. No,
And
I think
that's
that's
so great in
absolutely
this
true.
space.
Yeah. I think that's what you've said is, I mean, absolutely makes sense, is completely true. Doing things when you're scared is like the definition of bravery. And a lot of this space takes bravery. A lot of us come
It
out of,
really does. Yeah.
yeah. You mentioned, coming out of D&D a lot. I think that pipeline is pretty big. And the kind of like, even
Yeah.
like the cosplay like pipeline is pretty big. And there's a lot of that kind of like, those pipelines tend to lead around the adult space because they're adult immersive play, and we don't get to do immersive play in a lot of other fields. This is one
We
of the only
really
ones we do.
don't.
Yeah, and it is uniquely adult. Like people who play D&D, some of them aren't adults, but people who make audio erotica, they're all
Valid.
adults.
Yeah.
um, I do want to talk a little bit about, we've talked a lot about, how you got into the space and the things that you did leading into your career. If you could go back and let's just pick one thing, because I think all of us could go back and say, oh, I do a million things differently. But if you go back and say there's one thing I would want to do differently early on, what might that be?
This is gonna sound crazy. um, I wouldn't do visual content.
No, I get that. That makes complete sense to me.
I If I knew what I know now, I wouldn't have started with visual content.
Yeah.
It took me a while to realize that voice acting is like where I wanted to be. It took me a while to sort of accept that because like I struggled a lot in the beginning with imposter syndrome things, which is pretty common and I deal with that often. But it's the whole like, I'm too old for this.
Mm-hmm.
It's too late. I didn't go to school for this. Like, what am I thinking? Like, I can't, I can't put energy into this. Like, it's, I'm not a, spry chicken. You know what I mean? Like, but the more I put energy into doing voice acting, the more I realized that I loved acting.
Yeah.
And that was a really unique experience for me because um, I went to school for, well, I guess it depends on when you ask me, but I got accepted to my college under a music ed degree. And I quickly changed and I pivoted to theatrical lighting design.
Mm,
And I did theatrical lighting design for 3.5 years. I did, a stint of internships on Broadway, and that was my trajectory. And I realized that's not what I wanted to do either, but I never took acting classes. I took the prereqs I
mm,
had to take, but the thought of being on stage was not my thing. But I have always loved acting.
mm.
I'm just not good at physically acting. I'm only good with voice acting, I guess. Um, but it's one of those things where like I want to be perceived but on my terms, and when you're on stage under all those lights, and even if you are in a costume and you are playing a character, you're being perceived in such an intimate kind of way because you have the attention of so many people.
Mm.
Like, at least as a voice actor, like I can be who I want to be and I don't have to worry about the pressure of that type of perception. I don't know.
Mm.
That doesn't really make any sense,
No, I think it
um
does.
but I realized that I wanted to do stuff with my voice more than I wanted to make visual content, and the slide away from visual content hit pretty hard
Mm.
because like, I was like, well, I'm going to be a female on the internet. I guess I'll just take my clothes off. Like that's what everyone says, right? They say it's so easy. Just show your
Yeah.
tits, like take your clothes off. And I've always wanted to do more than that. Like I was a professional photographer for a while and I studied lighting design for a major, like so I combined all those things into my content to provide high quality or high vis content and it got me nowhere.
Mm.
And that was very disheartening. So I started doing voice stuff because voice stuff actually brings me bliss, I guess. It brings me pride because it's a skill that I consistently work on and it's a skill that I'm very proud of, like that I have and something that I'm never satisfied with, but I think that's pretty common for all of us. Um
Yeah.
but I would I would not start with visual content. I think I would have eventually incorporated visual content anyways. I feel like everyone in the voice acting sphere does if they're brave enough and that's something they want. Like if they're like, oh, they
Yeah.
start with hand content or like
Yeah.
they start with, you know, leg content like on the couch. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
covered in a
Yeah.
blanket. They're not really showing anything. But like I think I would have taken that route instead because it took me this long to get art for my character
Mm.
when I feel like I should have had that to begin with so I could have this avatar I could sit behind. But for the last 4.5 years, I've been using my face.
Right.
And I recognize that there is a level of immersion that people don't want. So
Mm.
using my face for all my voice acting stuff, people are like, maybe. Maybe that's a little too real. She's actually like a person. Like, she's got like a whole face. I don't know. Like,
Yeah. Well, and like you said, the visual content is most of the time geared toward a male audience, and
yes.
with with audio content, at least 50% of it for femmes is typically women, and so you're getting to design kind of the experience more around how you want someone to feel. I think that's the great thing about voice acting is we get to decide like I want this person to feel this way. Whereas
Yeah.
as soon as your face comes on a screen, someone's going to have a feeling about it, whether it's kind or not, doesn't really matter.
Right.
It's a feeling that hits people immediately when anybody's face comes onto a screen. Um, and that can be really detrimental on the internet, but it also typically falls under the male gaze of, they're going to be expecting like you at a downward angle, like below them.
Yep.
They're going to be expecting, that kind of like seductive like scenes and those types of things, that teasing the reality things that a lot of people do. I could list so many femme creators that kind of just like they'll show their legs, they'll show their hands, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's smart in the industry, especially because it shows I'm both human, so don't be an asshole, but also I am
Right. I am actually a person.
I'm actually a person. I'm real.
Yeah.
But also like, sexuality is a real human thing to have exist within my body. And that's a normal thing to have happen too. But yeah, visual content does tend to definitely pull in the men instead of the femmes.
Yeah. And like the other thing is I didn't want to be pigeonholed into it either.
Yeah.
And that's kind of something I struggle with still with my content is like I know like I will keep it as PC as possible, but like I do all content on my site. Can I say that?
Yeah, you can say it. It's fun.
Okay, I do all content on my spicy site. So like when I want to do audio content, the response to my audio content is not nearly as enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And that's very disheartening because like I want more attention for that.
Yeah.
And I'm not upset at my listeners. Like if anyone is in the chat that is subscribed to me, I'm not mad at you. That's not what I'm saying.
Can I be mad at him? Is that allowed?
I mean,
please.
Maybe. You can be disgruntled. You can't be mad.
All right. I'm grumpy is like my modus operandi anyway. That's fine. Whatever.
So
I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It basically is like I recognize that I have pictures of my on my site.
Yeah.
And that's why people are there, and I get it. Which is why all of that will stay up. And if I ever make my way back to that, then I know that that's something I can do it's just boring to me to an extent, because it's just like it's I don't know, I can't develop a story with that.
Yeah.
It's just boom, you do the
I
thing.
mean, you
You
and
do
I
the thing with this other toy thing, and then the video's over, and that's the story every time.
you and I we mentioned porn earlier, but I think this is the kind of like this is a pathway that I think a lot of this type of content takes, is that people who make, they're showing their human body content tend to veer one of a few ways. And so whenever it comes to like if I'm showing my body, it will often be like they're dancing to a popular song, and then like the hint is there of like there's an OF link on that page, right?
Yeah.
There's the excuse me, there's the like meme, I'm doing a voice, I always do the same voice, or there's like sexually suggestive like hand motions or whatever that's going on.
Mm.
And then sometimes you'll see something new come out, but then everyone else starts doing it. I'm reminded of there's that creator who like gets really close to the camera and says, look into my eyes while you do this, like blah blah blah, like finish for me,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I don't remember her name, but she got really popular. A bunch of people now do the exact same thing that she did. And so it's very much that, just like whenever you're doing physical content, I think it's boring because the only thing that works is the same thing that everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing the algorithm cares for whenever you're doing physical content. Whereas if you're doing like
Right.
animated content or vocal or audio content, it's kind of the Wild West. You can kind of draw whatever you want. Not that long ago, Bowser being turned into a goth version of Peach was like the biggest thing on the internet for, a little
Right.
bit.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that is, I mean, that's the kind of thing that you can just get away with randomly on the internet. I still remember I heard this audio one time where this guy was banging a cake on Gone Wild audio, and I'll never forget it. It was the weirdest shit I've ever heard in my life, but it was really
But
funny.
it's stuck with you.
It's in my brain. It'll never
Yeah,
leave.
yeah.
But I think that's a good distinction between like you mentioned the physical and the audio. I think that's so important.
Hmm.
We kind of already
Can
talked a
we
little
write
bit.
down
No, go ahead.
more questions that are in chat?
Yeah, sure. I've only tracked
So Eyes
one.
had his question, their
Right.
question. Apologies. I don't know what uh your pronouns are. Sorry, Eyes.
I
Um
said, how would you come back from a long absence from the space? I personally struggle with finding something motivating to come back with, or what to do that I haven't already done before. And he would love our take on it, or your take.
so are we okay with interrupting the normal questions
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
chat
I'm
questions?
not
Okay.
going in a specific line. This is
Okay.
more, we're just playing and having
Oh, I
education,
love
fun
that.
time. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I love some fun time. Um
Why does it sound like that when you say it?
What does it sound like? What?
Nothing.
What do you mean?
Nothing?
What do you
Don't pitch up whenever
mean?
you say, what do you mean? Stop that.
What do you mean? I'm an innocent. I'm an innocent little bean.
I hit my front teeth with my coffee cup, you monster.
So, Eyes. um I have also taken a long absence from this space. I for the last year, for the most part, I have exclusively been an editor. Um, I haven't really done a lot of solo VA work. What I do or what I do put out is like collab work, and it's not really something that like I promote to an extent, because it's like, oh well, I just wanted to be involved. Like I just wanted to stay connected somehow,
Yeah,
but also like I I did not do a lot of solo VA work for a while,
right.
and I was a little disenfranchised with it because I pushed really hard in the beginning, and I didn't really get where I thought I was going to get
Yeah,
with it, and that was really disheartening for me. Um, so I stepped back and I recognized there was like a need for good editors in this space, and I have a penchant for audio work and audio engineering in general. And I spent so much time learning and practicing and growing and learning some more and practicing some more, like editing and audio engineering. And I picked up a job as an audio engineer for a Not Safe for Work visual novel, and that was really awesome. And I lost track of doing stuff for myself.
Yeah.
So what I would recommend is find the reason why you want to come back.
Mm.
Like think about like if you take all of the data stuff out, all of the reasons, all the flows of information into your algorithm and your marketing and your followers and blah 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 blah. Remember why do you want to, I guess my question to you is, why do you want to do this? What makes you want to come back? Think about why you want to come back. Is it passion for the space? Is it there are stories you want to tell? There's experiences you want to have. There's, things you want to practice, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I say this and I have a hard time following this, but I truly do believe in it. If you come back with passion, people will find it. Like if you come back and you're just dialing stuff in and you're like, oh, well, these tags are popular, so I'll just do these and I'll just sort of like, oh, I guess I'll just record this and, throw it up and, oh, yeah, it's great. If you don't have the passion behind it, your listeners are going to hear that. So if you make good content that you like really believe in like not like existentially, but like if your passion is there, then your listeners will follow. And I think taking a break from the space is wise. Just mentally, emotionally. The space can be very taxing because we are required as creators, especially non-safe work creators, to run at such a high frequency for so long and for such a consistent amount of time that burnout is very common in this space.
Yeah.
So the time I took away from being a solo VA creator gave me the opportunity to sit back and think about what I want to do here. And part of what I want to do here, hold on, I'm putting my hair up. It's hot as fuck in this room. Oh my God,
Yeah,
my hair is...
if you're hearing Dex sweat and hearing the cars drive by, it's because her windows are open because it's hot.
It's so fucking hot in here. I'm so sorry. That isn't going to be a labor of love. So I think that I'm like reading the chat on the screen instead of reading the chat in real time. So sorry. I'm a professional.
You're fine.
I've done
You're doing
this before.
fine. You're doing great. Actually, let me ask you, because I think I know where you were headed, and I want to ask a follow-up question right before you hit it, if that's okay.
Yeah.
First, what you mentioned that you were doing is you moved back into editing, right? So you went into production, editing, even writing. Yep. How do you feel that went for you? Do you think that's something you would as a performer, is that something you would recommend people maybe consider? When I think about it, it sounds like a good way to get a feel for where the market is before you jump back in. But I also feel like that would drive me crazy because, like you mentioned, it was very disillusioning with like what was going on.
Yeah, it is. And so if you are anything like me, I have ADD. I am a dopamine jumper. So for me, I call myself the triple threat unironically because I'm not trying to be cocky. So like,
yeah,
I do VA work. I am a writer and I am an editor. So like, when I am disillusioned with one, I jump to the other. And when that one doesn't satisfy the itch that I need, then I will jump to the next, and I will just keep jumping around until I find the dopamine and I chase it. So for a very long time, editing was it for me. Editing and writing was it for me. And it's so funny how the market moves for VAs because it's not the same for writers or editors. And the VA, the waves that VAs go in and the way the market moves for them is almost behind where the writers and the editors are, if that makes sense. Like they're not the first to do stuff, if that makes sense. Because a lot of times, a lot of the popular waves in the community are brought forth by writers. Because and while there are people in this community, and don't get me wrong, um, thank you. Eyes, that is so sweet. Thank you so much.
Chad is going to distract Dex so much.
No, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. Like, there are a lot of really talented improv creators in this community.
Right.
There's so many of them. But for every improv creator, there's 4 or 5 roleplay creators,
Right.
exclusively roleplay creators. And they have to get their words from somewhere, right?
Right.
So the writers are the ones that are at the forefront of the waves. And the waves are only amplified by the VAs because obviously they are the ones bringing their voice to the words. Yeah. Hell, you're right. It's true. And it's something that often gets overlooked. And that's why there's often the sentiment of like scriptwriters get the shit end of the stick in the community, and they do often because, and it's not, it's on the VAs obviously to like indicate that they have scripts that are written by other people, and it's more on the NPCs in the community, and I say that semi-affectionately.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get into my personal feelings on a lot of normal people
Hell
followers.
yeah, let's go.
The people, the consumers of the content that the VAs make, don't care about the writer.
No,
and
not
that's
at all.
not their fault. That's how they're wired. That's why I call them NPCs, semi-affectionate. And oh my god,
no,
excuse me, hold on.
You're fine.
Okay.
You're making a great point. You could be the most famous writer in the country or world or whatever, and if you write a Quinn audio and whoever produces it, whoever performs it rather, that's going to be the only person who gets credit for it.
Correct.
It could be written by anyone. It won't matter. No one will care.
Because nobody cares about the writing. They only care about what's being said, and it's
exactly.
It's really interesting to have been in the community for about 5 years. When I started, there was no calling out the writers whatsoever. It was just, and it wasn't out of malice. It just wasn't a thing. Like it wasn't like it is now.
Right.
Because
it was just kind of expected. Like there are, I think there was a time especially where there were just like people were just snagging scripts and there was no consideration for, credit or whatever. There was just like, oh, there are free scripts here. I'm going to do them. And there was very little consideration around that. Yeah.
And that was just that's how it was. And I'm very much of the mindset of like, just because this is how we've done it doesn't mean that's how we always do it. So like I always made sure to like message the writers from the beginning. Like I always made sure to message the writers specifically and say thank you. Like I really appreciate your work. I consider this a collaboration. Like your talent and my talent, I'm putting them together to do this, and I hope that you're happy with the outcome. I have always done that, but that is not the norm.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I find that I get called out in my Instagram more than I see the VAs that I work with. Because it's like, because I do a lot of editing for Quinn creators, so and there's a lot of very feral Quinlings on Instagram, and
yeah, there are.
It wasn't until recently that Quinn allowed editor credit and writer credit. That's a new thing, because Quinn didn't always do that.
They only recently added like the opportunity to apply like publicly as one, because I think they only added it a few months ago. You could apply privately but not publicly, which is so odd.
Right. And they, for a while, I used to ghostwrite for somebody on Quinn because they didn't allow credit for writers, and now they do. And now they allow credit for editors, and I getting like kudos on Instagram stories for editing is like really shocking to me, because I'm just like, I put it together. Like I didn't, like if scriptwriters get the shit into the stick, editors get whatever is left
completely unacknowledged. It's like the people who do like scene, like you mentioned, you were doing lighting and scene setting in plays. Those are the people that everyone forgets, which are honestly the most valuable part, I feel like, of most audios is when you're settling into the audio, the
Mm-hmm.
quality of it matters so much. The background of it, the immersion of it matters so much. And forgetting any of that, I think is, and I do almost all. I've only not done like 2 or so of my own, like, immersion elements. And that shit is
Mm-hmm.
hard.
It is
I had
hard.
to teach
Yeah.
myself, and it sucks. It's the number of classes and videos I've had. It is not easy.
Yeah.
I only
And
recently
I
learned
have,
what stem editing was.
oh, Lordy. Well, welcome. But I've spent a lot of
Just
time
call me a
watching.
dumbass.
No,
I'm
stop. That's not
kidding.
what
I'm
I
kidding.
said.
No. It's
You said those words, not me. Listen, chat. He's trying to make me look bad.
fine.
You
Chat,
hush your
chat.
mouth, ethics.
It's STIM, I believe. It's whenever you do the thing where you record a segment, and then when you're doing Foley or another voice, you record it separately on another track. So it's just multi-track recording, but they call it stem editing or stem recording. Stem production is what some people call it too. So I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Women in STEM is good.
Like,
Sorry. There's one thing you called attention to too that I want to point out is with writing being, you mentioned writers being at the forefront. One thing that I think is important to acknowledge is that a lot of VAs and performers don't read the stuff that they produce. And I don't just mean in this space. I mean in
no,
pretty much every space.
they do not.
Most performers in every kind of space, whether it's a Star Wars actor who's never watched Star Wars, or a smut performer who's never read anything on AO3, most of us are not most of us who are performing are not the people who consume the content in its written form. We aren't reading scripts or reading, any of this. We're just performing it. And I think that's a great point to say, like, they're ahead of us. And I think they're ahead of us because the writers are also readers. They're people who are reading what is coming out. And so they know the trends to write
Right.
against them and see that progression of trend. Whereas we don't see any of that.
No, we don't.
Or I don't. I don't
Like
read
as a
enough of
VA.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but that's honestly like a really good way of thinking about it, because writers are reading other writers' work. And
Right.
if I'm in a handful of like writer servers, and it's like a chain reaction. So like if someone gets motivated by something and brings it to the group, it's sort of like lightnings out through the group, and suddenly everyone's inspired by all of these different things. And then that sort of creates this wave of scripts that have to do with, we'll say religious corruption, because I'm seeing your character bounce up and down. So we're thinking like religious corruption as like a core inspiration, and some people will take it in the direction of demonic possession or exorcism, or like
Wax
straight up
play
like,
or confession.
yeah, so like this one idea can splinter out, and then suddenly you have 9 or 10 scripts out of this server from these writers who were just so inspired, and suddenly those are being dumped into the community, and the community
Yeah.
is like, whoa, all of these scripts, where did this come from? And then all of a sudden you have this influx of like VA work with corruption as the core, and that's the wave. So
Yeah. I love that. There was one other thing that we were leading to that I want to give you a chance to talk about, and then I want to take some community questions, and then I want to jump into some broader themes around the differences you think between mask and femme creators, and also kind of the industry at large, where you think it's going. So we were kind of getting up to Black Curtain Audios. I want to hear about what inspired it, what your successes have been so far, and I'd love to just give you a chance to talk about it with everybody here.
I would love that. So thank you for opening up the floor for that. So for those of you who have not heard me rant or have not heard me share anything about Black Curtain Audios, this is my passion project. So Black Curtain Audios is audiobooks plus plus. This is my way of bridging the gap between the stories that are being told as roleplay audios and the stories I want to be told via audiobooks. Are you okay?
Yeah, I muted myself so they couldn't hear it when I coughed.
Oh, I had to hear that
I'm
alone.
so sorry.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. I interrupted your thing with a cough that nobody heard but you. All right. Okay. I'm
As
good.
you're not fucking
I'm
dying.
fine. I'm good. I had something in my throat. I'm fine. Sorry.
Well, so anyways,
Audiobooks plus plus.
audiobooks plus plus. And because I am a novelistic style writer, and that is where my strength is, that is where my comfort is, I can't tell stories like that in this community.
Right.
I mean, I can't, obviously I can, but
Right. Yeah.
when it comes to things that are widely accepted in this community where role play audios are so dominantly consumed, to introduce something that the listener cannot insert themselves into in a traditional way, they're not interested.
Yeah.
So the stories I want to tell don't require a listener like it's not like a direct one-to-one. So when I started Black Curtain Audios, it was kind of like an accident where it was like I shared a piece of writing with someone and they were just like, "Hey, can I do this with you?" And I was like, "Do you want to?" Like, I mean, I wrote this and I was going to just perform the mask lines. That's why there's like 3 of them, because I didn't really want to do that.
Yeah.
But like I was just going to do it because I figured I couldn't get anybody to do it with me. Because I'm like, "Hey, I'm introducing this completely new style of audio. Believe in me, trust in me."
Like you haven't built enough clout that a ton of people would literally do it for you in a heartbeat. But continue.
Well, in the beginning, I didn't,
Yeah, but I
Like,
mean,
when
when
I
you
first
started
started
this
this.
project, you had enough clout by then.
Yeah, but it's also trying to get mass creators to take a chance.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and I recognize that a lot of followers, especially, and I was just having this conversation with somebody else earlier, where a lot of followers of mass creators who do M for F or M for M, whenever they introduce an MF4A or a radio play, they get defensive or they get almost territorial about their VA. Like, how dare you introduce another voice into my experience?
Oh, you mean the listeners? I thought you meant the
Yeah.
performer.
No, I'm talking about the listeners, because a lot of mass creators are very nervous to do stuff like this, like what I'm doing with BCA, mostly because that could be the potential kickback.
Right.
And in the beginning, and obviously a lot of mass creators are a little bit more open now, but in the beginning, I was like, I don't want to ask people to potentially alienate their fan base just to do this with me. So I just wrote something and I shared it with someone and they were just like, "Dude, this is so hot. Can I do this with you?" I was like, "Do you wanna?" Okay. I mean, I don't really have a lot of lines for you, and there's a little bit of moaning that you might have to do, but like I can put more lines in for you, I guess. And they were like, "Yeah, do it." I was like, okay. I guess I will do that. That's fine. I will flesh out a character. I don't have to do the mask lines. That's fucking great. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And that turned into the first production that I did for BCA. And then it was kind of a surreal experience because like the reception for that particular project was not very good. And I expected that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm introducing a new type of audio. And at the time, I hadn't really realized that my audience needs to be audiobook girlies and like book talk girlies. And not necessarily, not that I'm trying to alienate the roleplay audience, because I know there are people in this community that like what I'm doing. But I recognize that this is not the core audience that I need to reach.
Yeah, there's a quality expectation difference whenever it goes between... I was just talking to somebody about this earlier today about how, like, you go to most audio erotica apps or anything else, most of them, not all. The quality level is just above garbage. And what
Yeah.
you produce and what I think most audiobook girlies are familiar with and used to and happy about. I'm using girlies in the gender neutral sense, by the way. We're all
Hmm.
girlies in the club.
We're all girly pops. Yeah.
In the club, we're all girlies. But I think there's a much bigger expectation there, especially if an audiobook includes immersive elements, it's going to be produced like quality wise. And that's the kind of
Right.
content you made. And that's not always performed at that level or,
Right.
necessarily received at that level.
Right. And I wasn't really deterred by the like lukewarm response
Right.
because I realized that there was a way to do what I wanted to do.
Hmm.
I just needed more time to learn how to do it better. And that was part of the decision to dive into doing more editing work. Um, I really wanted to tell a story in this way. I wanted to have snippets of experiences. I like lore in my porn. Like I like the pizza guy. I like the pool boy. I like the lawn guy. Like I'm sorry. I know it's porny, but like to elevate those stories into something that is palatable for an adult palate, like
Yeah.
um was it's attainable now, you know?
There's a
And
oh, sorry, keep going.
no, you're good. I was just gonna say like it's the tension, it's the lead up, it's the calm before the storm, it's the air before the rain. Like you know what's coming. It's getting to that. That is just so fucking thrilling that I I knew there had to be a way to tell it. And with roleplay audios, because we're sort of railroaded into this one-on-one experience, the stories can't quite be told the way I want them to be.
Yeah.
And I knew there had to be a way to do it, so I made BCA.
I love that. It's so surprising to me too that the industry standard, because the industry standard was set long before I started doing this. It had already kind of like Quinn had already hit the popularity it was at before I came in, and so it was kind of like, here is a standard. It is 10 to 20 minutes. It's 90% smut. Um, and I've always been surprised by that because I think that people like what you do, which is, you know, like 30/70, and there's chapters. There's a
Right.
build, a release, a break, a build, a release, a break. And there's also that like that gives people opportunity for comfort, that gives people opportunity for come down, that gives people opportunity for the primary audience being people who are able to, have multiple experiences at the same time, building that lore, that kind of like edging feeling of a story. It's so
Yeah.
weird to me that it always jumps straight to like, hey, I'm a woodsman. What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like,
Take your
okay.
pants off. You want to see my wood?
It's me. I'm delivering, I just chopped down wood and I'm sweaty. Take off your pants. It
Yeah.
is so
Quite
it's
literally.
it is so crazy to me in a femme dominated industry that's become the standard of like, well, this is why they're here. They're here to do this. And I'm like, I get that some business girlies like they've got 15 to 20 minutes and this is what they're doing, but
Yep.
I don't think that's how everybody, and a lot of people use these just for comfort. And so it's
Yeah.
wild to me that people are like, let's get to the fucking, and that's
I
all.
know why.
I want to hear.
I know why. Because
Are
it
you
could
about to
be a
name
couple of
names?
things.
Because
No,
I have
no,
a
no,
name
no.
in mind whenever you said that, but I was going to keep it quiet.
Oh God, no.
I'll DM it to you later. It's fine.
Okay. Um, I, as a consumer, and this is I mean, I think everyone in this chat knows that I don't to audios. It's not
every
my,
every person here knows that.
every person here knows that.
They
Okay,
do
cool. I
now, at
just want to make
least.
sure. Well, I mean, everyone knows. And it's not my thing.
Right.
So that's why I was like a little blindsided when I didn't know this world existed because this isn't a thing that I would have sought out. But I don't to audios. Um, so I listen to them with a very different mindset. I like being turned on. I
Yeah.
like being aroused. And oftentimes, because of the fact that these stories are truncated into these like 20-minute, easily consumable things, it's almost like I want to hear the dirty stuff.
Yeah.
Like I want to hear you say the dirty things. I need like a crumb of lore. Especially like if I don't have a lot of time, like I just need like I need a spark. And then you can say all the dirty things and it's like I don't really care that, you know, there was no indication that you took your pants off and suddenly we're fucking, and the semantics are part of it, like
right.
But like most listeners are NPCs. They just want to hear you say dirty stuff. They don't really care about the plot.
Yeah.
And I was having a conversation with someone where like the plot is for me. And for those of you in the chat, and for those of you who may listen to this in the future, like I know there are people out there that want lore in their porn. They want story, they want plot, they want drive, they want reasons. I get it.
Right.
I'm with you on that. But most of the time, porn, the plot is for me.
Yeah.
And this is also common as an editor, where the editing is for me. For the NPCs who listen, they don't care about the footsteps. They don't care about the panning. They don't care about the crickets. They don't care about the cars. They want to hear the wet sounds of you touching yourself and making the noises they want to hear. That's how simple it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
All of the elevation that we do in this community is for us. And, you know, I get it.
I had this exact conversation with Sawara earlier today. We were talking about she's in the chat, and she and I have worked together on audios on this channel before. And I think of it like a marketing funnel. If you've ever seen a marketing funnel before, it's like the top of the marketing funnel is all like people who are interested in what you're doing, but they're not really like loyal. Are you typing in marketing funnel right now?
No, can you hear me typing?
Yes.
I'm talking. I'm talking your chat.
Oh God, yeah. Hey everybody, Dex is here. Anyway.
Hey. Hi, chat.
We can't do that to chat. They die.
Are you sure?
Would you guys die if we tease just a little? We could bully just a tiny bit. They'll be okay. You have to use your natural register. You keep drifting up. Use your natural register is so good. You just talked about this the other day.
I just posted about this, yeah.
Yeah.
This is my natural register.
Yeah, you always talk up.
I know.
You immediately go, Okay, anyway, we were just talking about this, like a marketing funnel is like, think about it like an upside down pyramid. It looks like a funnel. It's what it looks like.
Bareback Googling marketing funnel.
Sorry, no, you're fine.
Me ethics.
The top of it, stop.
Talk nerdy to me.
The top of it is like people who are interested in what you're doing. They might like bounce off of it. They might be a little bit interested. It's like the people who are at the very top level. They like porn. They like audio stuff. Maybe they drift down this funnel. The next one is like they're interested and then they're kind of engaged. Like they start to like it, they start to listen to it. Maybe they, follow some free stuff online. Maybe they watch some YouTube videos or whatever. And then there are people who are like willing to pay for it, and they start to get into like they become consumers. And this is where I think the NPCs are. People who are just looking for the next like hit of dopamine, of hot growl like voice. They just want the horny like whatever noises, like oh God, whatever. They want that. And then there's the next phase down, which is like loyalty, and I think it's called like your brand ambassador people. They're the people who like, this is amazing. I love what you do. I need this to exist. Like I want more of this. I want to support you and tell other people about you. And that's why I think we make all the other fun stuff that we do. The immersion elements, the clean audio, the like new storylines, all of that stuff. I think exists like for us to say like, those of you who are really into this will be really into this at this level. And there are a lot of people who are just like, I don't know, I'll listen to a dude fuck a cake on Reddit, I guess.
I guess.
And that's fine, right? We're okay with that. Those people exist, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sexuality's good. Go have sexuality in school.
Yeah.
I don't want to take away
sexuality.
Anything. Go. I don't want to tell people to go have sex. I was about to say that.
Go have the sexuality
go have
desire.
Whatever sexuality you want. Be the sexuality you want to see in the world. I want to hear anything else you want to say about Black Curtain Audios, including like, if how people can, get access to it. If is it live yet?
Yeah.
Technically, I don't remember. I'm sorry. I'm a
Huh?
bad. Is it live yet? I'm such a bad friend.
It is live. Yeah,
Okay,
I
I'm
have a
sorry.
whole website. I spent all of February building a website. So you can go to blackcurtainaudios.com, and if you want to sample the opportunities that are there, there's
Mm-hmm.
only 2 right now, but I'm working on it because I am a one-woman show. Even though if you were to poke your head around the website, you will see things spoken about in plural. So like we at Black Curtain Audio, it's me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just me right now. So I'm working on it. But if you go and you poke around, the first acts of all of the longer productions are always free. So you can sort of get a sample for the vibe, for the voices, for the story. And then if you decide that you want to hear the rest of the story, you can subscribe. And that will give you access to, I think the first production is an hour and 20 minutes.
Jesus.
And the second production is an hour and 10 minutes long.
Are they?
And then
Is that the one that's 4 parts, or is it 3?
That's the one that's 4 parts, yeah. The one that's 4 parts, I believe, is like 76 minutes. And
Okay.
that's fully... Marlo, you are correct. Yeah. So that's a fully cast, fully submersive, fully soundscaped production.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I love that.
So you can sort of like read the tags, you can get a feeling for the story, and oh my God, thank you so much for the link. I do have more in the works. I gotta eat, so you know how it do be given the American government currently.
We also don't know. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole for this conversation, but we don't know if this is going to stay legal a whole lot longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I may be handing out cassettes with my moans on it in like a couple of months. We don't know.
Cassettes.
It's the easiest thing to rip.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying it's the easiest thing to
true.
do.
No, you're right. You're right. Can't do CDs. They're too easy to rip.
Yeah, they're too easy to rip. We have a bunch of questions, so I want to give us a chance to answer some of those. Sunny asked, how do you get in the mindset before creating smut? What's your routine to get in the mood for making audio?
That is an exceptional question, and you're going to be very disappointed with my answer.
Hell yes.
I'm so sorry.
Hell yeah.
This is, we're about to unpack a little bit here. So remember how I mentioned I have CPTSD? Hypersexuality is a trauma response. I am never not on.
Yeah.
As respectfully as I can say that. And that is that's an exhausting answer, right? I don't have a way of like getting in the mood. I am just always there. So when I sit down and I'm recording, I am like already at a 6 or a 7.
Right. Yeah.
I am very, very rarely below a 5.
Right.
So when I'm like, I'm going to do this thing and I read the tags and I'll go through all of the explicit tags I'm not even sure I can say on Twitch, and I'll just be like, cool, I'm in. Let's do it. Like,
yeah, I love that.
But I mean, I'm sorry that my answer
that's your secret cap. You stay horny.
I do. Yeah, I do.
I think there's a lot of people who've answered this specific question a lot of different ways. I read a few interviews prior to doing this conversation because I wanted to see what people have asked in the community.
Yeah.
Why can't I talk? Hang on. I'm dying. I'm fine. I should take a hit while I'm coughing anyway. No, it's fine. I won't have it. It's downstairs.
And you should also drink some water.
I did. The general answer that I saw online that I think kind of matches up with I think a lot of us is that for a lot of us it's kind of this nebulously both sexual and non-sexual experience because we are putting our heart into this, but we're also producing it for other people. And it's also a lot of like out of all the voice acting work I do, making smut is the hardest because it just wears the shit out of you. We were talking about blowjob noises earlier. It's hard.
Yep.
That shit'll
Yeah.
fuck up your throat.
Fuck up my throat. It'll fuck up. Oh my God. Stitch, thank you so much for joining. I'm so glad you made it. Thank you. Drive safe.
Or Stitch. Have a good
Yeah,
one.
it's physically exhausting. Like I was recording yesterday and it was like 2.5 to 3 hours, something like that, where it was
Yeah.
like I'm in my tiny recording space and I get out and I can like wring my shirt out. Like I am
Yeah.
soaked because I'm bouncing and I'm physically active because it's a lot of fucking scenes and like I want it to be realistic, so I have to put my whole Dexaudio into it. And I'm fucking drenched at the end of it. Like I go biking and I put 20 miles on and I have more energy at the end of that than I do after a recording session. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Same. I mean, I'll go to the gym, do a workout. I'll come home. When I record at night, I get a better workout at night recording than I do at the gym because
yeah,
it fucks up your
100%.
throat, your body. You're working a lot
Especially
of,
moaning. Moaning is so harsh on your vocal cords.
and when you're doing a multiple like orgasm track or whatever, like
Yeah.
you lose oxygen from your brain. You do get close to fainting sometimes. It really does fuck you up. It is
Yeah.
wild. I saw recently Roy, I don't know how to pronounce it, Roy Chiato? I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's a voice actor too. And he was craziest blowjob noises you've ever heard in your life, like deep throating noises. He
Oh my
sounds like he's
God.
actually taking it. It was insane.
Wow.
But he was talking about like how it, is so physically exhausting compared to every other type of voice acting he does.
Yeah.
Crazy. Let's see. Another question was, excuse me, from Vice. Are there pieces you've recorded that you've scrapped or set aside because you felt like you couldn't meet the same emotion or intent that you originally wrote it with?
Oof.
I know. It's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of things I've set aside. I don't, as crazy as it sounds, like I don't, until BCA, I find that I didn't record a lot of the things that I've written. Like, I think that was why I started doing it in the first place, where I was like, I have a story. I'm gonna read the story. Like, that's what I want to do. And I don't often, I guess I guess what I have to say is like, it doesn't happen often with my stuff. I find that I will scrap scripts that I have found from other people because of a whole number of reasons. But 9 times out of 10, it's not because of the fact that I can't find a way into it. It's the fact that I don't like the writing.
Yeah.
The writing is bad, as respectfully as I can say that, because it's hard enough out here.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking hard enough out here. But like, the writing does not vibe with my style, or
Right.
it is just not good. And I will be in the booth and I'll be half recording and I will just stop recording and I'll just be like, I'll fucking delete the file and I'll just move on.
Yeah. I know
Like,
that feeling. I think we've all done I think every voice actor has done something they've been like, this sucks.
like sitting in the booth
Don't
and I'm like,
this.
no one fucking says that. No one says that.
What am I,
gonna make
12?
this
What is
convincing?
this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
no,
who
I feel it.
fucking wrote this? Like literally those are like the thoughts I will have and I'll just be like, you know what? I don't have to do this. And I'll just close the file and I'll just move on to something else.
Yeah. It's nice if you're not
I
getting paid to have to read it, because anytime you're getting paid to read something, you're like, what the fuck is this? It's the worst feeling
Yeah.
of like, I have to do this. I have no choice.
I have to do this. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Hell's question from the beginning before
Yeah.
I forget. Hell, you asked what made you decide to want to show off parts of my body.
Oh, I missed that.
What made me decide that I wanted? There we go. That's the right direction. Okay. So, what made me want to show off parts of my body? This is something that I find is kind of a phenomenon in the sex work industry, where you have to, oh, Hex, I do remember that. I don't remember the script, but I remember being like, who fucking wrote this? This is absolute doo-doo dog water. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I've been there for sure.
Um,
I'm sorry, Hell. I missed it.
I do love you, Hell. Um, so the phenomenon of having to do more, it's something that sneaks in when you're not looking. And
Yeah.
I think it's because I am a deeply competitive person that I have to curb constantly,
Hmm.
where I felt like I had to keep doing more. I had to keep taking more clothes off. I had to do more pictures. I had to do more videos. I had to show more of my body. I had to show more explicit things. I had to show more angles. And it's because of the push, I think, unconsciously from your consumers, where like the consumers of your content are like, oh my God, you put out 76 pictures and 46 minutes worth of video. I need more.
Yeah. It's like
Which, if you,
they call it, I heard
yeah, go
one
ahead.
time somebody call it the whole question. Like until an actress does a whole in, you know, spicy stuff,
Yep.
people will always ask for it, right? So it's
Yep.
whichever one it is, they will ask until it's done. And there was this old thing that would be like, I can't wait until X does Y. Don't yawn like that.
I'm
Don't yawn like
sorry.
that at me. Jesus.
I'm yawning in your listen, this yawn was not towards you. This yawn was in the chat's
It was an
general direction.
aggressively seductive yawn you're doing in the chat's face. Jesus.
I was trying to be quiet. Listen, hold the moment's my favorite thing. Anyways.
But no, I mean, I think that's the thing, right? Like there's always something else. It will always be, once you've gone through everything, it will be feet, or it will always be something,
Yep, it will always be something else. And that was part of my motivation to be like, I'm going to show my tits. Like, okay, I guess I'm going to show my tits. And then I like got over the anxiety of like showing my tits because like it's not that serious. And then
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I guess I'll just show my I'll show all my downstairs. Like all of them, like all the holes that are down there.
There's a
Um
lot of whole talk I accidentally inspired. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, it's just like once you show the one, then people are like, well, you gotta show the other one. Okay, well, I guess I'll show the other one. And then all of a sudden people are just like, I need more. And then I'm just like, well, I don't have anything else to show you. So, like,
And then you're just that guy with that jar, and you're like, no, God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that
yeah.
inspired memories for anybody. No, I mean,
So that was that's why I started doing it.
I do think that's the great thing about audio too. There's no runway, right? There's no end.
Thank God,
There's no
because I
end to
am a
this.
fucking goblin 9 times out of 10. Because recording, I am sweating my fucking ass off. I'm not pretty. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm pink faced or I'm red faced. I have sweat everywhere. Like, my hair is sticking to my forehead. Like,
They'll pay
I'm
for that.
not a
Actually,
pretty
I think.
recorder.
I think they
I
like that.
listen. I'm gonna slide into your DMs with a price, okay?
Hmm. All right, let's see. The next one we had was we got. Were there any other questions that I missed before I get to Sugar Cookies had one. I was wondering how you branched out into different voices and roles within audios, and how you developed your voice for listeners to be able to differentiate between, for example, a sub voice versus a dom one. And she said she wasn't sure
Yes,
if that made sense, but
that's an exceptional question. I practice a lot. Um, I have always been obsessed with following movies with my voice, mostly
mm,
Disney movies when I was younger, like obviously. Um, because once I saw the movie to the point where I knew the words, then I
right.
knew the voices and I could do like the voices. Like Mother Gothel from Tangled, where it's like, you want to go outside? Really? Like it's
That was
very
good.
thank you. It's very like patronizing. It's very condescending, but also in like a very motherly kind of way, which is like a forward sound in the mouth. Like it's thing, and this is where my vocal training comes in, and I didn't realize how close I would use that information now as a voice actor, but like the placement of sounds in the mouth matters so much when you're developing voices.
Mm.
Like when you're doing like a Harley Quinn versus a Mother Gothel, like the sound is very different. It's almost a little nasally, it's a little higher. You're raising your soft palate in the back of your mouth, like um it's a whole different way of using your instrument. And when you're developing characters like a submissive character or a dominant character, I guess think about something that you would be comfortable doing. Like for me, I had a really hard time finding my dominant voice because my dominant voice does not sound very motherly. My dominant
Mm.
voice is very like glacial. My
Mm.
dominant voice is very like cruel almost. And that's not with the intention of being cruel. It's just the clarity of my voice lends to cruelty. And like I ended up finding my dom voice uncomfortably because I really wanted to have this like motherly kind of dom voice where it was like very welcoming and it was very very calming and very like safe. But when
Mm.
I'm in a dominant role, I find that I like having the severity of like crisp words and
Mm.
soft spoken orders and almost like an air of fear unintentionally. That's just a dom space I am comfortable in because it is so vastly different from my soft, like whimpery, sort of submissive space. And like
Yeah.
my submissive space is like a lot higher, which is why I made that post um earlier today where I was like I recorded something just in my natural register and I was like, yeah, I'd fuck me. Like I'd fuck the brattiness out of me or I'd fuck the cockiness out of me. Um but like when I'm like submissive, like I just really want to suck your like just a little bit, like please, can I please, like it's very like eyebrows lifted, like sort
Yeah.
of like a pleading, you're leaning forward. There's like a whole physical change when you're doing like I don't know, maybe that's just me, but like this is very much your mileage may vary, but like um just like sometimes I'll just lay in bed and I'll just like fuck around with voices and I'm just like, do I like this one? Like can I consistently hold this one? Like or I'll just watch. I have so many movies that I know by heart down to the sound design because I don't watch them, I listen to them. When I'm
Yeah.
working with my hands for my day job, I'll just throw on a movie because I need my eyes and my hands together, but
Yeah.
I want to watch something, so I'll put on something that I know that I sort of mentally. And one of those movies is Batman Returns.
I love
And
this.
a lot of my a lot of my banter in a lot of my roleplay scripts are based off of that movie.
Yeah.
Because if you are familiar with the scene where she's just become Catwoman and she's sort of like her nervous, like secretary voice has transitioned into this sort of languid, like long, like seductive kind of confident voice. Like
Yeah.
that's the shift that I try to take into my characters, where like in the beginning where she's just like, um, I have a question. Well, it's more of a question. Like she's like really meek and she's really nervous and she
Right.
doesn't feel confident in her character. And they get up and they go down and they do the speech and you know later on in the movie when she's just like that's my name, Maximilian. Don't wear me out or don't wear it out or I'll make you buy me a new one. Like, where he's like, Selena, Selena. She's like, that's my name, Maximilian. Like, she's very, like, sexy. Like, but it's like in a way where it's drawn out. It's all of the words are connected if you're thinking about it like music.
Yeah.
In the beginning, her notes are all staccato, they're all broken up, but when she's
Right.
Catwoman, they're all connected.
Right.
Like, and that's the kind of understanding that I try to take into certain characters that I perform. So,
Yeah. That's a really good point too, because there's like meeker or more like when we're talking in this space, we're thinking like submissive versus dominant. So a more submissive voice is often more punctual because it's expecting to be interrupted. You know, that like
Right.
there's a trick to where like if you're being a submissive voice, you look up. If you're being a dominant voice, you look down. So you're trying to like
Mm-hmm.
emulate the position you're in. So you're saying like, hey, I'll do anything you want me to do. If you want me to, I'll get down on my knees. Like there's a lot of stammering and like expectation of being stopped because there's the intent of being ordered on what to do. It's like that lack of confidence versus confidence. And when you point your chin down, it opens up the bottom of your throat. So
Mm-hmm.
you can look down and say, get down on your knees. And there's a lot more like flowing and a growly kind of voice too, and that purring kind of thing. And that's not to say
Mm-hmm.
like deep or high pitched voices can't be either, because we also have like the great example is like Astarion's voice is, you know, in BG3 is a higher pitched but like flowy and purry dominant voice because of its
Right.
confidence.
Right.
Um, and you can be confident from a broken place too. That's I think something that's important too is like giving characters levels is really helpful to kind of do this like type of work.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
The next question we had, um, I want to do the second one that Chaos asked first, and then I'll ask the
Oh yeah.
second one. Um, do you think places like Reddit where people can find free audios hurt paywall industry to a big degree?
No, I don't.
I
If
agree
it's
with you.
utilized properly.
Yeah.
So, one of my biggest complaints about GWA is that they tout themselves as an amateur space, but it has never been dominated by amateurs. And that's by design.
Right.
So, GWA is a space where anyone can put anything up and get attention, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like,
That was a long pause and it was
I know
valid.
it's because all of the words
Let's
were trying
talk
to come
shit.
out.
No, okay.
Must say nice things about Reddit.
I don't want to be
Must
cancelled by
please the
Reddit.
Reddit overlords.
Do not cancel me, Mr. Reddit.
Yeah, please don't. um, but I think that to a degree, free audios are necessary. And
Yeah.
that has always been the way, especially funneling traffic from Reddit to your paywalls is so necessary. And it's finding the balance of what is enough to get people to bite. So, like, your ratio is really important as a creator. And,
Yeah.
you know, when I started in this space, it was Rinazaki.
Yeah.
Um, it was Mimi Hung. If
Yeah.
anyone is familiar with her work,
Yeah.
she's incredible. I listened to an audio by her very early on in my audio career, and I still think about it.
Which one was it?
It was the one where she's a demon and she's summoned by a demon hunter.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've heard of this one
are you
before.
familiar with this one?
I have heard of it. I haven't listened to it.
Oh my
I'd have to go
god.
back through the
I
archives at this point.
Oh yeah, you would. You definitely would. So the premise was she's a demon. She's a little succubus girl and she's summoned by this demon hunter, but she doesn't know that. She's just summoned to be a demon girl. And she
Right.
goes through the whole gamut of demon what's the word? Oh my god, there's a train outside.
I love the train noise, actually. I was just thinking about
I'm so sorry.
trains.
She runs the gamut on like demon pleasure. So she goes dominant, she's submissive, and she's trying
Right.
to get him to come because she needs him to come to finish the pact. And if he doesn't come, then she's stuck there.
Right.
And that's kind of established along the audio where like halfway through where she's just like, what? Why haven't you come yet? Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
well, what do I need to do? Like, do you need me to have bigger boobs? Like, and then there's like a magical sound and there's like, she's
Yeah.
got bigger boobs and she's giving him a tit job. And so she's like, and then he's like fucking her and then she comes, but he doesn't. And this goes on until she's like crying at the end. And she's like, I'm gonna be stuck here. Like, what do you mean you haven't come yet? Like, it was like this emotional thing. And she was like, it just sounded so genuine. And then she's like, they're gonna come for me. Like they're gonna hunt me down. They're gonna hunt you down. Like you have to finish the pact. Oh my god, did you guys hear
I
my cat?
did.
Oh my god. I
You have to
don't know
finish
why
the
she
pact. Meow.
you have to finish the pact. Like and then it comes out at the very end. I'm gonna spoil it for you, I'm sorry.
It's alright, I've heard
Um like it comes out at the end that he's a demon hunter and he's using her as bait.
Right.
So she has two choices. She can either die by the people that are coming to get both of them now, or she can turn and fight. And he gives her weapons. And there's like this kick up in music and there's this cocking of a shotgun. And she's like, let's do it. And it's like, I think about it all the time because it was just the sound design and it was the levels of acting. And she was so good. And it was like the plot twist at the end. Like, I think about that. That was 5 years ago. And I still think about that audio. So like
I
the
realized
space
I'd
has
heard
always
it when you did that one bit about the like, why haven't you come yet? That I remember this audio. I've heard
yes.
that clip of it specifically. Sorry, continue.
Yeah.
There you go.
She's incredible. But like the space has always been dominated by titans who provide free audios on Reddit to get people to come to their sites. So yes, I think free audios are necessary, but it is a matter of finding the balance that works for you as the creator to make doing the free audios worth it.
I also think there are people who will not pay. You know, just like
There will be there will be
form
people
of
that will never
pornography.
pay.
Yeah, they
Yep.
whatever their, you know, there is their entire website's dedicated to visual, content that people don't pay for, and then,
Yep.
but they're, OnlyFans was a $8 billion business or whatever it was. They're getting purchased right now, like that, you know, like
Yeah.
sure there are people who don't pay, but there are a lot of people who do, and
There
you just
are
have
a
to
lot of
kind of
people that
know.
do.
You have to know which audience is which and where to put that content, I think, too.
Yeah, for sure. What
Okay.
was the second half of Chaos's question?
The other question was, how do you handle the fans who treat you like a puppet / circus monkey as a Femme creator?
I don't.
It's a good answer.
And I say that as arrogantly and as confidently as I can because I have when I started in this space, I didn't have anybody protecting me. There was no rules and there still aren't. I didn't know anything, and anything that anyone wanted to teach me cost money.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any money. I still don't, but like
None of us do.
that's beside the point. But I learned really quick that if you have a drop of blood in the water, the sharks will find you. So if you show any level of fragility, any level of vulnerability in DMs with people who are trying, because anyone that DMs you, if an NPC DMs you, they are not messaging you with your best interests at heart.
Oh no.
And they never will, because that is not what they are programmed to do. So when it comes to the thoughts of the sheep, I don't pay them any mind.
That's great. I appreciate that the only place most people can DM me is on like TikTok and Instagram, and all of those go to my requests, and I forget that they exist.
Yeah. So, and it's funny you say that because like I get most of my harassment through Instagram.
Yeah.
It used to be through Reddit, but I think because I've established myself as an established creator and I specifically have in my Reddit profile NPCs don't message me or something. Hold on. What does
You're
it say?
gonna look it up.
I am gonna look it up. Hold on.
Yeah.
I only entertain NPCs for a fee.
Ha. That's good. I like that.
So like they like Instagram specifically, I think it's because I put my body on Instagram and men think they are entitled to my time, which they are not. So they will slide in my DMs and they'll be like, "Oh my God, you're so pretty." And I'm like, usually I just delete the message because I don't have time.
Yeah.
And sometimes
How
when
much
I'm
is it
feeling
worth?
really, exactly. And sometimes when I'm feeling really vindictive, I will answer it and I will be mean as fuck.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, there was a guy, I'm gonna share some Dex lore within the last 6 months. I had a guy message me and he said, "Size queen?" Question mark.
Whoa.
And I was feeling real vindictive. So I answered. I said, I have a question. He's like, oh yeah. And I was like, does this work for you? Is this a thing that actually gets you pussy on this app? And he was like, what? I was like, no, I'm dead ass. I was like, you have my attention and I'm in a mood, so answer. And he's
He
like,
came
well,
the second you said
just...
that.
Huh? Yeah. So he was just like, well, I was just curious. And I said, what about my page gave you the indication that this is something that is appropriate to message me without so much as a hello? This is not how a conversation starts.
Imagine walking up to somebody and being like, size queen?
Yeah. I literally was like dumbfounded. And he was like,
It's wild.
He was like, well, you're just really pretty. And I said, and that entitles you to what?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I just, can I start over? And I said, you have one fucking shot. Make it good. And he's like, well, I spent the last hour looking through your content, and I think you're really pretty, and I think you're really talented, and I really just wanted to tell you that maybe that wasn't the best way to like start out. And he like gave me this long answer. And I said, thank you. I was like, if you had messaged me that from the start, I still wouldn't have answered you, but at least you wouldn't have ruined my day.
Right.
Have the day you deserve. Don't do this again.
The truth is, he probably did this again. This is the problem. Like,
he did, and he started using my name as clout, which I shut down very quickly.
God damn it. I swear to God, you can't help these people. They just...
Nope, they can't help themselves. These are what NPCs are coded to do.
I feel like...
This is why I don't answer NPC messages anymore.
I feel like this is the thing, too, about, like, every man who cosplays as a dom on the internet and sends these types of messages to people, all they want is to get dressed down the way that you did to this poor guy. Immediately, he was probably feeling more like in his actual space, like belittled, small. That's what he wants to be deep down inside, but he doesn't want people to know that's what he wants to be. Right. Exactly. Like, you can pay for that.
Fucking pay me.
There are people who
I will do that, baby. If that's
there
what you
are people
want,
who will do that for you.
I'm very accommodating.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
Make it worth my time.
Yeah. It's so upsetting because I seriously, every time I run across one of these, this happens a lot too. We've, in the VA space, I want us to transition a little bit into this conversation a little bit. Yeah. The kind of like bad actor mask versus femme thing. I want to talk about those two things separately, hopefully.
Yeah,
but
of course.
There's overlap, obviously. But that like pretend dom on the internet thing, 100% of the time, they end up, especially, no offense, like politically stuff, but if you're like, I'm a real man and very
I'm
like...
alpha.
And you got a bunch of American flags or whatever in like your profile. If you're very like patriotic or very conservative leaning and say like I am this big alpha man, that dude wants to be pegged so fucking bad.
Hard.
They want dick in their ass hard. So bad.
Yeah.
So bad. God, they want dick so bad.
They can slide in my DMs and I'm sliding on my strap and be like, all right. The sound of the buckles, like, oh, this is what you want, don't worry.
He immediately drops to his knees and goes, mommy. Like the second.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you flip the script on those guys for a millisecond and they're down. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So if anyone in the chat, if you ever have anyone slide into your DMs and they are an NPC or they're new, don't entertain them because they will just waste your time and your time is so crucial. Like,
let them get filtered.
Protect
I swear
your peace.
Yeah, set up a business account.
Side quests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't take the side quests.
Don't take the side quests with these
If you
guys.
have a business account on TikTok and Instagram, it will throw them in your request and fucking ignore them. I have like 30 of those fucking things. I delete them every once in a while. They don't matter. They still listen. Matter. They still pay. I don't care. But I'm not here to be your dancing boy unless you're going to pay me to be your dancey boy. Then maybe I will. Depends on what you want.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about two topics, and I want to kind of keep them separate, but there's obviously a bridge here. One is the conversation about mask versus femme creators, because I'm creating from a very like, I have a deeper voice, I sound masculine, I'm a mask creator, I'm male. And And there is a big difference between the two. So when it comes to mass versus femme creators, what do you think are the biggest differences, challenges, and hurdles that are unique to femme creators?
So, one of the things in this community is that this community is built by femmes for femmes.
Yes.
And most consumers of audio erotica are heterosexual females. Heterosexual females don't want to hear females. So, Memer, have a good night. Thank you so much for joining. It's
Thank
been
you
fun.
for coming. Yeah. Well, maybe I should reword that.
You should probably say something else.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. Oh my god, it was so fun hanging out.
If we say it like that, it's way less hot. I like it better that way. No, somebody might be into this. Somebody likes the
Speak
Valley
for
Girl
yourself.
bullying.
Speak for yourself. Anyways, so it is something that I have noticed as I try to transition into this is excluding bi girls. I'm talking about heterosexual girls.
Yeah.
That is
which is the predominant market. It's like
the predominant
It's
consumer.
like 60 to 80% of the market, depending on what app you're on. Like, no joke. We know there are bi gay women that exist in this space.
Yeah, hi, I am a pansexual demon. So.
We know that they're in the market, but they literally constitute maybe 10 to 20% of it at most, and that varies by app. And then there are, of course, men who consume the media, but most of it's not intended for men.
Right.
So that's part of it.
And if it is intended for men, then
mostly gay men.
Mostly gay men or men that don't want to admit that they like it.
Yeah.
So they don't consume it.
Right.
So it is actually, I just had a conversation with somebody else about it where a female voice will never go viral the way a mask voice does on TikTok, specifically. Just thinking algorithmically. Because the primary consumer of audio erotica is heterosexual females, and that is just what it is. So the challenge as a femme creator is to create content that is engaging for females.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like F for F content or WLW content.
Yeah.
It is getting women to interact with your content somehow, either by being funny or being relatable. And it's hard. I've noticed that, like, for example, there's a Quinn creator, AJ This Way, and I think Benjamin IAC or something. They do lifestyle content. They do it's like almost like a vlogging type style content, but Amanda Marie, who is a creator on Quinn, who I found on TikTok first, ironically, she does exposure therapy content on TikTok.
That was her most recent series of things. Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like
exposure
therapy, yeah. And that's relatable. And I consumed her content for a while before she was just like, yep, I do stuff on Quinn,
yeah.
But it was so tertiarily related to what she does here, but her voice is what people were brought in on.
Right.
It's very soothing, it's therapeutic. That is how femmes have to sort of navigate the market versus a dude who is just being like, crawl to me.
Yeah.
That's right. You're so pretty.
Right.
That's all mass creators have to say, and people are fawning and falling all over themselves, and it's like,
I mean, they don't even have to say anything. They could just hold up a book and get, everyone and their dog fighting over them and then they end up with professional book deals and the whole thing. It's crazy. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Pause. I think there's when we're talking about that specific creator, I can't remember her name, the person who does exposure therapy. Do you remember her name?
Amanda Marie.
Thank you. Amanda Marie.
Yep.
I need to keep my mouth shut here because I can't talk about specific industry stuff that I shouldn't know. But if you look at like her content stuff versus and like how popular it is on Instagram and sometimes TikTok, the TikTok algorithm fucks with her a lot. But then if you look at like Cavern as the other example of that I'm thinking about is another Quinn creator who he just will get in front of a mirror, hold a camera in front of his face and say like, aren't you such a good little girl for me? And that'll be like all, and then he'll like laugh. And he's British, so he's got the, he's
Yeah,
got all of that.
but he's goofy, and
He's
that's
goofy. Yeah, he's
that's
playing
his
off the
shtick.
goofy. Yeah.
Right, but he just happens to have an extremely good voice, and he kind of uses that to his advantage to be funny, and that's
Right.
another thing in this community that I find is not often tapped into is humor. Like,
Yeah.
erotica can be fun. Sex is fun.
Yeah.
And I feel like we get so serious in this space. Like,
right. If you're not laughing like after you come with somebody, you probably didn't have that much. Like, it's not, most people when they end sex are not like, well, thank you so much for the lovely
thank you. Like, this transaction is now complete. Like,
right. And I want to be clear too. I'm not dogging Cavern on this. This is me saying I think Cavern is great. There are people I don't want to like. I'm not trying to say Cavern is a bad guy. He's a great podcast. He's a good guy. He makes a lot of funny stuff, and I do enjoy him quite a bit. There is also just the sheer like
disparity.
It's the disparity, right? Because there's like Anna Marie is like literally researching exposure therapy, recreating it for people in these really difficult. She's breaking like stuff in her kitchen that cost her money, and she's like fighting for views. Basically, no, it's good, it's good. But then like Cavern stands in front of a mirror and tells a funny dad joke and giggles, and it's adorable. But he gets 10 times the views. And it is really the like reality of this kind of market is that you can, as a male creator, you really don't have to do that much. He did have a very big audience prior to Quinn. He got picked up, I think because of that big audience.
Yeah. Quinn was like, I need a fucking piece of that. And he was like, you want me to moan into a microphone? Okay.
For fun? All right.
Yeah, for fun? For money? Okay. Yeah. Maybe that's fine.
For me. But I do want to kind of talk about like broader wise, what would you say is unique and specifically, challenges, things that we could do better in the industry for femmes. I know actually speaking of Anna Marie, she also has like, she talks about this a lot too. If you go to her stories and stuff, she talks about like how to improve the quality. Whoa! Somebody peeled out.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's so unnecessary.
I loved that. That was great.
Oh my god!
Get me the fuck out of here.
Nope. It's not even. I wish it was something like that. It's just I live in a neighborhood with a bunch of children.
Oh. And so they're trying to hit them?
I live near a mosque that has a very large parking lot where people love peeling out.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Especially
because at this point I'm usually sleeping, so now
I know. I'm sorry. We may have beaten this question to death anyway.
I am totally fine with staying up. Or if you want to have me back, I would be honored. But I would understand if you want to bring in other creators.
I do want. I mean,
ethics.
You're always welcome back because we could always hang out and just chat, and I think people would have fun. And I think we can always, you and me could play a game or something.
I'll get very greedy. Won't I, chat?
I'll tell you what. I'm going to lay out a couple of more questions. I'm going to ask you if you want to answer any of them tonight, or if you want to save them. I wanted to ask, here's the list that because I've already sent it to you, but talking about bad actors, talking about where the industry at large is headed, talking about AI, which I think we can skip because fuck, it's not worth it. How can we support film creators more, and how can we support you specifically? Those are the ones that I had kind of laid out for us. Oh, and the number one tip if somebody wanted to start, which I think we've kind of answered.
Oh, I mean, let's start with that one.
Okay.
So if you want to get into this, if you want to get into doing voice stuff, be prepared to be uncomfortable forever.
Oh God, I know, right?
Yeah. So, and I say that affectionately, of course, because I love what I do. But it is, you're going to have to confront a lot of things about you that you may not expect. your inner biases towards certain things, your hesitations around certain sex things, your approach to sex in general may change if you start in this space. And I'm getting philosophical. I will get technical in a second, but
I want both.
philosophically, my relationship to sex has only gotten better
Mhm.
through the experiences I've had doing audio erotica, because it has allowed me, and this is where all of my therapy comes in, it has allowed me a
Mhm.
way to navigate through and learn things about myself that I either didn't know or was afraid to admit, or like I didn't know I was pansexual until I started doing this.
Right.
Because like I always liked girls. You know, I
Yeah.
always liked boys. I always liked, it was never about what was in your pants for me. And I didn't know how to deal with that
Yeah.
beforehand. It's not like I grew up in any sort of like religious thing. I grew up in the projects outside of a major city. So like I didn't really grow up with any sort of preconceived notion about like what was right or what wasn't right. It was just societal pressure of like you must like men and that's it, growing up in the 90s. Like but like doing audio erotica, I was like, wow, I really like people. You know? Like I
People are
really
hot.
like if the vibes are right,
Yeah.
like I really like right. And like if you were gonna sweet talk me, oh
Is
you
that you giving me
crashed.
room to sweet talk you, or are you running out of steam?
Are you crashed?
I crashed?
Yeah.
Can you not hear me?
No, like your Twitch stream
Oh,
crashed.
my stream crashed. Okay, hang on. It's coming
You're back
back.
now.
Yeah,
Hi
it's doing
chat.
it. Hi,
Come
chat. We're
back.
back. Sorry,
Come back.
that was really weird. My dropped frames is 0.1%. It just oh, Twitch went down for a second. Hi, everybody. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I am
You
too
may have to,
powerful.
if
Yeah, the
you
second I
can't
admit I'm
hear us.
pansexual, Twitch is like, nope. Fuck that.
Yeah, I'm telling people the same thing that Chaos is saying, that if you can't see, refresh, it'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give everybody 1 sec because they probably can't hear you.
There's also more people here before than there was before.
Yeah, it fucked up and then went crazy.
It's like, by the way, here's 11 more watchers.
On Pride Month. On Pride Month, it shuts us down for you saying you're pan.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's also, like, the way you're describing that reminds me of, like, a lot of people I think learn they're demisexual through either reading smut or, you know, their kind of experiences with audio stuff, because they realize, like, it's the experience, right? It's the person.
They want connection.
They want connection. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of people turn to erotica in the first place.
Right.
That's why roleplay audios are so popular. That's why they're so popular on YouTube for like safer work stuff and BFE experiences.
Sleeping
and like
yeah,
they just want, we're so in a world where we are so painfully connected to each other. I feel like we are less connected than ever, which is why people crave this kind of experience.
Yeah. That is definitely, we should bring that topic for another time, because I think we could spend a whole like stream talking about like the distance between people, the need for interconnection, the lack of it, and the way it's been like monetized through all kinds of shit. I'm gonna get anti-capitalist real fast if we do that conversation. Yeah, that's gonna be bad. Are there any others that stuck out to you that you want to talk about specifically tonight, or do you want to hold it for maybe like a part 2, or just like a hang sesh someday where we like play a game in chat or something?
I'm gonna finish this question and then.
Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're good. I said I was gonna get philosophical and then I'm gonna get technical.
Oh yeah, technical time. Go.
Technical time. I'm gonna crack my fingers. All right.
I was just cracking my back.
I know. I heard you do it.
Did you?
I heard the vertebra.
The vertebrae?
Yeah, I heard them. So anyways, just do it. If you want to do it, do it. Record it on your phone. You don't need a special microphone.
Yeah.
Get comfortable with doing the thing. before you're like investing in all of this like equipment, space, time. Just find a script. Find like if you have a Bluetooth headset
Yep.
to plug into your phone, like to connect to your phone, just fucking do it. That's like, be curious about the process.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy the process. Stay curious and just keep going. That's really it.
Yeah, agreed. I think the biggest thing I wish I could have like known better about, I did it kind of accidentally, but I wish I had known about this, is like start with what you have. Find an audience with what you have. People who like whatever the fuck. Like when I listen back to my early audios, the amount of background noise is insane. You can literally just hear like in the background of a lot of my audios. And I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is this? And there's a ton of free resources if you're really interested in this stuff. But like start with what you have. Get a free DAW, first thing is just like throw a microphone under your mic or under your phone and record it and then put it on somewhere that you think people can listen to it. Social media if it's appropriate, or Reddit if it's not, or, Twitter, I guess, if they still let you do that. And just fucking like do what you can and then build from there. 'Cause you can really step your way into getting better equipment over time. You really don't have to rush that. And half of the stuff that's on the major professional websites is done on phones, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And explains why it sounds bad.
Oh, it does. It really, really does. Which is why people hire people like me.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you make this sound good, please?
And you're like,
I'll give you the money.
Spectral noise removal fucking shit. Isotoping the fuck out of this.
Looking at it in Adobe Audition, and I'm like pulling my fucking hair out, going, I don't think I can fix this. I mean,
hey, at least their spectral sound is okay. Yeah.
Give me your money. I'm sure I can fix it somehow.
Sure, I'll make it sound better. They won't even notice like how it's not as perfect as it could be because they recorded crap audio anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other questions, because I feel not that I want to stop talking to you, but
you got to go to bed, girl. I can hear it.
Listen, I'm trying. Okay, I'm
so proud of you. I really am. I'm so proud of you.
I'm fighting for my life out here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm just playing around. I'm just playing around.
You have all the questions, so if there's any you specifically want to jump at, if not, we can, like I said, we'll have another conversation, or we can even, I want to try to bring in some different creators. I've had a few people reach out that want to talk. I want to highlight an author, which I'm going to reach out to. I want to highlight somebody who, you've done editing and production, which I think is a really good insight, and performance, and so I think that's helpful. But I want to bring a writer in as well. Now that we've had this conversation, I think it makes sense to do that. And I want to bring in more performers too, to kind of talk about people from like new and then people who've been around for a while, to kind of see what people think about it. But yeah, if there's any that stand out to you, let's answer them today.
So I feel like, can we save the questions about? Hold on, I'm gonna reorganize this list. Please hold that. If you could just like roll the like elevator music.
Dun, 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 dun. Wait, actually, I can. Hang on.
Shut up, really.
Everybody, shut the fuck up for a second. We're thinking. Oh no, it was like ending. It'll. There it goes. It's going again.
Oh my fucking god! Whoops.
Come on, get it now. Yeah. Come on, get it now. Listen to this elevator music.
Oh my god, my brain is so fucking cooked.
Because you go to bed at like 3 hours ago. You're a sleepy girl.
I really am. Leave me be, okay?
Come on.
You're gonna do that, and I'm already gonna be done.
It's already, the song's playing. I just don't think you can hear it.
Okay, I can. Okay, low five jazz break. Okay.
Because you can only hear.
I can hear you snapping.
You can only hear me singing and snapping, but you don't know what's going on.
Well, I don't know. Listening to you sing the elevator music is worth it for me. So.
You're just here to glaze me. I just paid
Um,
Dex to come hang out with me and glaze me the whole time.
Yep. Oh, I'll glaze you, baby.
Oh, will you?
I'll glaze you, baby. Don't worry. It's very easy with you.
We should just bring you out to just like, we'll just flirt the whole time and see if it gets people to have a good time. They'll just want to hear us flirt with each other. Would that be that stream you guys want?
Okay. Oh my god, do you guys want to hear that? What if
You
we
guys want to
flirted
hear
with
us just
chat?
flirt with each other all the time?
What if
Hi.
we're like, wait a
Hi,
second,
chat.
wait a second.
Please
What if,
Yes.
what if
Yes.
we seduce the chat?
I think we already have.
I mean, what if we tried harder?
Do we have to try?
No.
I'll do anything for you, Chad, please.
I'll do anything for you, chat.
Oh, Chad, please. the shudder breath always gets him.
Oh, always.
That one gets him every time. I turned it down. I knew they were gonna fucking say it. I beat you to it because I knew they were gonna fucking ask for the music to turn it down. I turned it off. I'll be a good boy.
Chad.
I'll be a good boy, please. Are you
You
done?
gotta work harder for that. Is that right, Faye?
You're just making
Sorry,
me
I'm getting
entertain
distracted.
chat. Fucking
I'm trying to-
Christ.
I'm trying to do. Hold on, I can't. Hold on.
Dex has good moans. That's not fair.
Hmm.
Chaos said Dex's moans have you better, and it's fair because you have good moans.
I do try to have the good moans.
The good
The
moans.
good
The best moans. Welcome to the best moans. We got good moans, cheap.
I didn't
Ugh.
answer like any of these questions, Ethics.
What? You asked like
We
we
didn't
did like
answer-
half of them. You did a
Shut
good
up.
job. You
That's
did a
how
good
many we've
job.
done so far.
Babe, you did a good job. You did a
Listen,
good job. No,
You're
you
just
did a
gonna.
good job.
I'm gonna have to come back.
No, I mean, yeah, yes, absolutely.
No.
I was gonna say like I was gonna continue to praise you as if like don't say you didn't do a good job because you did a very good job. But you will, you'll come back. We'll find time. I'm gonna make time. For
Ooh,
it.
just her voice moans. You say.
Mm-hmm.
Moans. You say. Oh, we did answer this question. Hold on.
We answered like I have a whole like track sheet on them. I answered like half. We answered about half of them.
Okay, because we didn't talk about what I like in audios.
I know. But you also you did mention like you don't listen to audios, but we didn't talk about
No.
like tags, which I think is, that was a fun one.
I'm
But
gonna
we can
need
save
you
that
to
for
get
next
those
time.
words out of your. I need you to get those words out of your mouth.
Which
Ethics.
words that you don't like? You said you don't listen to audios for
I don't listen to audios for time.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I don't listen.
We all listen to a lot of audios. We don't all listen to them
Yeah.
for smartphone time.
Yeah, I listen a lot.
Oh yeah, you're producing a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do listen. Don't be putting those
I'm
words
just-
in my mouth
I'm
when you can put
saying-
other things there instead.
That's my girl.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So
Chat loves it when we do that.
I guess we're just gonna have to come back and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're gonna find the bottom of that well.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, it doesn't
All right.
exist.
Okay.
The limit
All right.
doesn't exist.
The limit doesn't exist. They call that. Nope. Everything that popped in my head after the words I just said were not okay to say out
To
loud.
say on Twitch. Okay.
There's a guy who died doing it. You know what? I'm done.
I guess how we can end with the last two questions. How we
Okay.
can support.
Do you
Femme
have enough to
creators
do that?
more.
Oh, yeah, okay. Do you feel
I have
up
enough
for
to-
doing that?
Yeah, I'm.
Okay.
I hit my second win, baby. I'm good.
All right, let's go.
I went right through the pumpkin patch, and we are into open fields. Let's go.
All right, so the next to last question was, how can we support Femme creators more? And I think we is the, like grandiose, esoteric, like
collectively.
society, the industry, the NPCs, whatever you want to call it, like all around, how can people who are around this space in general help Femme creators? And there's probably a lot of different answers to that, but
Yeah, there's a lot. So like what you can do is a lot of things that are free. You can
Yeah.
share, you can talk to your friends, you can Comments are huge.
Yeah.
Like even if it's just like a, oh my god, this script was so beautiful, or like, you know, this audio like was so well done, even if it's like not something that like you would listen to, maybe take a step outside your comfort zone and listen to something new.
Yeah.
Um and just like, comment, and share. And like, I hate how pedantic that sounds because it does. But like, we as creators, like, we we need that stuff for visual. We need that stuff for exposure, and that doesn't
Mhm.
cost anything. So
Yeah.
like, that's probably the best thing. It's like, this is second or tertiary related, but like on my site,
Mhm.
one of the metrics that is advertised at the top of my page is how many likes my page has.
Yeah.
So when I have new people subscribe to my page, I tell them, I send them a message because
Yeah.
I don't like doing mass DMs, and I don't get a lot of subscribers. Not to denigrate myself, but like, I don't.
Yeah.
Um I will message them directly and be like, "Hey, if you see anything you like, please like it. That is something that is important to me because it does rank me on the Fansly website and it helps with my exposure."
Yeah. It
Like,
does the same thing with Patreon too. If you like are on a Patreon and people like it, it pushes it to more people.
right. So like, that's a thing you can do that does not cost any money, because like, I feel like a lot of the time it's just like, "Oh, financially support your creators." It's like not a lot of people are in a position where they can do that. But
Right.
there are free things that are just, if not more helpful, like liking and sharing, or like hyping up, or, you know, going into listening parties or whatever.
Yeah.
Like all of those things are free. It's really important because like, it's not just a matter of getting new eyes on. It's feeling the support for the work that they do to validate the effort they've put into the creations they've done.
Yeah. I also think like, so I have a background in marketing and PR. And one thing that people will often do is they'll go down their following list and they'll just click scroll, like, scroll. When you do that,
Mm-hmm.
it actually like fucks up algorithms for people because they lose like exposure from the algorithm. If you repost something too fast, if you tag people in a video too fast, if you like it before you've watched about 10 seconds of a video, it like fucks up the algorithm where it's like it thinks that you're a bot and it scrapes your like basically out of the algorithm, or it thinks that, like it basically like pulls your algorithm down a little bit. So a lot of
Right.
guys, what they used to do, this is part of the reason for this too, is back in the day, a lot of people had big discords or big followings on different sites, and they would post something and be like, everybody go like this. Everybody would go like it, it'd push it to the algorithm, and then you'd have a viral video. And so the algorithms figured this out, and there also a lot of people started botting that way. And so like a video would go live, a bunch of people like it on YouTube and other places that monetize, and then they would scrape those likes and it would cut the algorithm down. Um, TikTok is especially aggressive on this. So if you want to help people and you're like liking your followers list, you literally have to wait at least 10 seconds. If you're on TikTok and it's longer than a minute, you should wait 30 seconds before you like a video. If you favorite it, don't favorite it until after you've already watched it all the way through. And if you're reposting it, you have to watch the whole video. And
Right.
all of
Because
that I
they're
know is
basing that
annoying,
off
but
of your content being worthy enough to do those things.
exactly. At the end of the day, it's not, when it comes to short form media, if you want to get exposure, it's about the amount of time that was used. It's not just
Right.
about the likes, it's how long the eyes were on it. That's what people care about. Rewatches
Mm-hmm.
of content, letting it run, all of those kinds of things. There is also the benefit of like, if you are reacting to an audio, like if somebody has posted something online and you use the audio from it and react to it, that is a really good, that's way better than a repost to get attention on something like this, especially because most content creators and audios don't use their face. If you're reacting to a video they did or an audio they did, of their short form video, that will most likely get more likes than their original audio did. And that's how a lot of people like, it's called astroturfing. That's how a lot of people pay content creators to like make stuff about them to push them. You have these people go grab my audio and make a funny video reacting to it. That's why you see a lot of those like a woman is like hanging out of a car, like, this is what'll happen if I get into an accident and my audiobook is still playing, and you just hear this dude like, fucking take it right there, and it's like all that kind of stuff, but it's like coming out of her car audio. Those are AstroTurf videos. Those are most often PR plays. That's somebody getting paid to make those audios. That's why they have 100,000 likes, because they got paid to make those. And you can do that for people you like. It doesn't have to be that complicated, but you know, if you want to really support somebody, that kind of reposting audios and like reacting to it or sharing something funny related to it will most likely be more popular than the audio was.
100%. Basically share and watch.
Share, watch a lot of it, watch it over and over again. Go to your websites. That makes web crawlers go to their websites. So y'all go visit Dex's links. That will boost her page in the algorithms and shit too for Google. Yeah. What else can we do besides like sharing stuff? How else can we support?
I mean,
should that be a longer conversation when you're more conscious?
What, you can hear me falling asleep? Shut up.
It's adorable.
Shut up.
Referral for work is something that Gray said, and I think that's a good point. Is like a lot of this is something that I run into a lot as being a VA. Is like people will ask me who I want to work with, or like, you know, people will ask me all the time, like, who do you recommend working with? And I, you know, a lot of the time will say like, well, you know, I think this is whatever, blah blah blah. But
referrals are huge. Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, a lot of the time they're also just not like, people aren't paid equitably in those situations too, whenever someone is referring out. So I think it's also important when you're referring to like keep in mind equitable pay, especially if the masculine voice is first. Equitable pay can be bullshit. So in VA work, they'll often ask the male VA for recommendations, and they don't know any women.
But, networking is big, but I feel like networking goes hand in hand with something we were going to talk about in terms of like
shitty people,
pitfalls, and bad actors.
Yeah, I think we can have a whole ass conversation about that another time and just like chat about why it sucks.
Boy, do I have stories.
Me too. Yeah, just her voice said, don't know any women, but they talk to us all day, every day. This is why we need to have a whole separate conversation about pitfalls in this industry and shitty people, because there are so many examples of this, of people who have, especially masculine voices, who've come onto this market and just like, it's like they hate women.
They do, yeah.
And people love them, and I don't understand it, but that's the me thing.
Yeah, I'm down for part 2.
Last question was, how can we support you specifically? And we'll sign off with this one.
I'm not good for asking things for myself.
I'll ask for you. Do you want to DM it to me?
No. Not really.
Well, I will say,
I'm not good with asking for things for myself.
You really aren't. But no, what I would throw out, because I'm going to say it for you, is one, you should go to BCA, to Black Curtain Audios. If you are, if you're an audio talent and you want to do work for exposure to help out my friend, you should do that too. I'm going to pitch that for you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. The thing with, so.
Say it.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Nobody likes getting work done for free. And I am of the opinion that men should never allow that. But femmes absolutely get like the short end of the fucking stick. Take every single benefit you can get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, take it. It's fine. People offer to do free labor for me constantly. And I'm like, no. So you should take it.
Get away from me.
No one ever offers to give a femme shit. So like, take it. It's, go do stuff for Dex.
I'm not good at taking it.
That's not what I hear. Go support BCA. Go support whenever you see Dex tagged in something. like we just talked about, build that up, right? Like talk about the production work and the writing work that people are doing, but specifically what Dex is doing, and reshare those to your stories, share those with people. We really want to help out as many people as we can to kind of like build. And also, one last thing I'll say too is I think a lot of people get help. I'm joking.
Help.
I started. Help me.
Help.
Help me, Tom Cruise. Anyway, sorry, I started to cough. A lot of people in performing industries, in acting industries, and especially in this specific industry, think there is only so much to go around. They think there's only so much money, there are only so many supporters, and people do get loyal to specific people. But that old saying, "A rising tide, raises all ships," is true, especially in this industry. Every time I've been around a group of very creative people, I have gained followers. I've made more money. I've made friends, which I think is a really important thing in this industry because it's a really lonely industry to be in if you don't make friends.
It really, really is. Yeah.
It is brutal to not make friends. And we really do need, this is an industry that needs protection because there are shitty people who want to get into it. There are shitty people that want to exploit it. And there are shitty people who don't want it to exist. And we really need protection from all of that. And the best way to do that is for us to come together and say, like, we want these things. We want high quality audios. We want more story. We want a lot of these things that we think other people want too. And they do. They just don't get exposed to it. They don't know it exists. And really, the more we can build each other up, the better it is for all of us. So go build up Dex. She deserves it.
That's so nice.
Go to sleep. Fuck you. Don't laugh too hard when I say that. Anything you want to sign off on, buddy?
No, I appreciate you guys. This has been so fun. Thank you so much for having me here.
Of course. We'll find another time to do. Sorry, I was stretching. That wasn't just like a random moan. We will find. Everybody, get your stretchies out. Thank you so much, Dex, for being here. I appreciate you. If you or someone you know want to be kind of a part of this series, I don't plan on doing it every week, but it is something that I do want to start. Featuring. I have a couple of people in mind. There are some lovely people that I've worked with that are in the chat that I will talk to you guys too. You're welcome to be a part of this conversation. And I'm hoping long term this is a big benefit to people who are working in this industry, trying to make something of it. And honestly, I want to learn from it because I feel like the people who can help Femme creators the most are the mass creators. And the more I can understand and the more I can do, I think the better I can help. And I think other mass creators want to learn from that too and help out as much as they can. So, all right. Thank you all. Hope you have a great night. Please go to sleep, Dex.
I'm going. Bye,
She's
chat.
sleepy.
I'll miss you.
She's going to miss you guys so much. She just told me.
I'm going to miss you guys so much.
So fucking much.
I'll be dreaming of you, chat. I really will, I promise.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, chat.